You're on mute, Novelette.
Welcome, everybody, on YouTube and Zoom. We're about to go into an adventure this evening on the tools to overcome. So we want to talk about more about mental health. And before we get started, we'll pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your love and kindness. Thank you for being there for us when we need you the most, Lord. Please help the ones who are on their way to come and to enjoy the blessing that you have for them, Lord. I ask you, Almighty God, that you will help us, give us the right words to say. Pour your Holy Spirit within us, Lord. Calm down every fear, every anxiety, everything that will block you from flowing smoothly into our heart, into our words. God, please bless everyone in Jesus' precious name. Amen. So this evening, we're going to be talking about we're going to go to our Bible verse, and then I will introduce our guest speaker, and she will be able to help you with tools to go on with your life. Okay? So let's go to Mark 9:14. Mark 9:14. We're going to start right there. And this is about when Jesus healed the little boy who had spirits. So it says, starting with 14, when they returned to the other disciple, they saw a large crowd surrounding them. Some of the teachers of religious leader was arguing with them. They were crowded and they saw Jesus, and they was overwhelmed with awe. They ran to greet him. What is all the argument about? Jesus asked. One of the men in the crowd spoke up and said, Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He is possessed by evil spirit that won't let him talk. And whenever this spirit sees him, it throws him into the floor violently, then foam in his mouth, grinding his teeth and become ridges. So I asked your disciple to cast out the evil spirit, but they didn't do it. Jesus said to them, "You're faithless people. How long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." So they brought the boy, but when the evil spirit saw Jesus, it threw the boy into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, when then foaming at the mouth. How long has this been happening? Jesus asked the boy father. He replied, since he was a little boy. The spirit often throw him into the fire or into the water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can. What do you mean, if I can? Jesus asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. The father instead cried out, I do believe, but help me to overcome my unbelief. When Jesus saw the crowd of overlooker was groaning, and he rebuked the evil spirit. Listen, you spirit, make then this boy unable to speak. He said, I command you to come out of the child and never enter him again. Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into a violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. And the morning running through the crowd as the people saw him. But Jesus took him by the hand and held him to his feet, and he stood up. And after, when Jesus was alone in the house with the disciple, they asked him, why couldn't we cast out the evil spirit? Jesus replied, this kind cannot be cast out only by prayer. So that right there shows us that we must pray, because even with our mental health, we need prayer, we need tools. A lot of people don't have the tools in order to go forward in life. So a lot of times it just stays right up here and it doesn't go any farther. So this is what we want to talk to, especially for the young people who are going through stuff, because there are so many young people who don't know what to do. They're totally at loss of words, and they don't know how to go on, especially during this pandemic where they're usually going out with friends and, enjoying life. They have to be at home, or some of them have to just kind of choose where they have to go. Now they have to wear masks. I mean, It's so much things going on for them. So how can they overcome? And that's why our guest speaker is going to be able to share tools to overcome. So before she comes to you, I want to actually read her bio, and then we will hear her speak. All right. Linda Wright Patrick was born and raised in 8 Mile, community of Grand Bahamas in the Bahamas. She attended Rowland Hill Primary and 8 Mile High School. Linda has a Bachelor of Science in Counseling and a Master of Art in Education, both obtained from North Caribbean University in Mandeville, Jamaica. She also obtained a Bachelor of Education Primary Certificate, Special Education from the University of Bahamas. Linda has lectured at Turville College and served as an administration and recruited office at Bahamas Technology and Vocational Institution. She's an educator who loves to work with children, young adults, and family. This work for the Lord brings her great joy, which is why she has a long life ambition to build an orphanage and a school to develop countries around the world. Linda currently serves as a children ministry director at the North Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists and Hospitality, children and education leader at the 8 Mile Rock Seventh-day Adventist Church. She's also served as a family life ministry leader with her husband at the local church. Mrs. Patrick is married to Vito Angelo Patrick, and together they have 3 beautiful kids. Valencia, Victoria, Vito II, and Victoria K. In her own words, Linda loved God, children, teaching and learning, helping families, and working for the Lord. So here we are going to go to Linda Wright Patrick.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Novlat, for the invite and being here. It is my pleasure and privilege to be here with you guys at Elim Seventh-day Adventist Church. And yes, I just want to shout out to your pastor, Pastor Vane, and Mistress Tamika Vane, my good friends and spiritual mentors. So good to be here. And I thought we'd had, I'd see more young people. I really wanted to see some young people. We will definitely, I know they'll be watching and listening, so it's good that you're actually doing this program because so many people are faced with, we're all in a worldwide pandemic. We're all facing this together. And the persons who are mostly impacted by it would, of course, be our young people. They will definitely be affected. And so it's great that you took the initiative to do something like this because our young people really do need to have an outlet. They need these tools in order to make their lives better. And so, first of all, I just want to share some statistics with you guys. Okay. And like Novlet said, I'm from the Bahamas, so I may be pronouncing some stuff a little differently, so bear with me. And if I'm speaking too fast, just let me know. So some interesting statistics. Let's start with that. According to the World Health Organization, this is like 2019, 1 in 6 people are aged 10 to 19 years old. So of course we have a population, 1 in these 8 billion people we have in the world, right? Mental health, number 2, mental health conditions account for 16% of the global burden of disease and injury in people aged 10 through 19 years. The third one, half of all mental health conditions start by 14 years of age, but most cases are undetected and untreated. Number 4, Globally, depression is one of the leading causes of illness and disability among adolescents. And then the fifth alarm interesting fact is that suicide is the third leading cause of death in 15 to 19-year-olds. And that was really an interesting statistic because, of course, we don't want our young people to be plagued with issues like that. Okay, and so the consequence of not addressing adolescent mental health conditions extend to adulthood, impairing both physical and mental health and limiting opportunities to lead fulfilling lives as adults. So if we don't address the problems that our young people are facing now, they will be taking these into adulthood. And so with those interesting statistics, like I said, it's good that we're being proactive and trying to help our young people, or trying to help your young people, so that they will know, they'll be able to cope with what is happening now, and then of course be able to become functioning adults later in society. Okay, so a crisis has happened. People often react in different ways. Okay, and so I wanted to find out and what are some of the different ways that we have seen people reacting to crisis. Okay, I don't know if you want to type it in chat. You can do that if you want to. You can type it in chat and I'll read those. Or if you want to say it out loud, we'll have probably be able to take a few of those. But what are some of the different ways that people react to crisis? Okay.
Well, they shut down, because I see with a lot of people, they just shut down and they're just numb to everything. So that's what I see in a lot of young people or even adults. We just shut down.
Okay, definitely. So some of the other things that happen. So definitely there's a numbness. This is what our young people will be feeling, a numbness. And then it's not, it, it, it could be extreme or it could be mild cases. Okay, so it's not that everyone will react the same. Everyone reacts differently. And then the degree to which they react will also be different. Okay, so there can be physical symptoms. Okay, so persons, because a crisis happened, someone died, or they're in this pandemic and so much things is going on, they witness, just all of what is happening, they can actually develop physical symptoms, stomach pain and just being generally unwell. Okay, so there's all types of physical symptoms. Survivor's guilt, if they lost someone and they survive it, they could have survivor's guilt. They're disoriented. Some people end up being depressed or withdrawn. Some of them may have nightmares. They might be irritable. Some have anxiety, or they basically sadness. Some of them may respond by crying. There's loss of appetite. Some of them may be confused, or even emotionally numb. Okay. And like you said earlier, some of them might even be in a daze. It's like, and they may worry over things that'll happen in the future that hasn't, like something bad happening in the future. It hasn't happened yet, but they're so concerned about, because of what is happening now, they're concerned about what will happen in the future, like something bad is going to happen. So those are some of the ways that people react to crisis. Okay, I see Linda has her hand up. Go ahead, Linda. I think. Okay.
Hi, Linda. Well,
hello.
So one of the things that I see happening is because of lack of activity now, they're stuck in the house, weight gain, which could bring on some additional physical ailments as well. Insomnia, because they're sitting up. Now they are stuck in the house. Many of them are latched to games and things. So no activity, weight gain, and changes that would come from the increased weight gain, less sunshine, these kind of things, physiological changes that I would see that would happen to them.
Okay, definitely. And I see, forgive me if I got your name incorrect. Anyway, I'll say Miss Brown, Mistress Brown said, possibly eating things they should not. Okay, so all that unhealthy eating habits could also be a way that they react to whatever is happening in their life. So that is definitely another issue. So now that, okay, so they're facing these different things, all of these different things. They're in a daze, they're fearful, some of them are distressed. We need to be able to acknowledge how they are feeling. Okay, so you're a young person. How is all of this making you feel? You lost someone. Maybe it's home, your parents, family members, or it was the death of someone. There's school disruption. How do you feel about all of what is happening? Maybe you were supposed to graduate and you expected to, and nothing happened. How are you feeling with all that is going on around the world and in your life? How are you feeling with regard to this? Javon said there's a rise in aggression, definitely. And it's important that our young people, are able to acknowledge their feelings. They should be able to express their feelings, and we need to be able to allow them to do so. Okay. Some of them probably had plans for college. Their graduation didn't happen, and maybe colleges are closed, and they wanted to. They were looking at that as that's a big social event because that would have determined, who they meet in the future. They possibly would have met their future spouse at college. They're going ahead to study, career. That's another big major issue in their life. So two major issues in their life. Who they will find as a mate would be related to where they go to school as well, what environment they're in, and of course their career, depending on which college they go to. So those two major decisions are now being affected. So their feelings, and then if they're not aware and in tune with their feelings, it could possibly be allow all of these other things to happen, like the aggression, the sadness, the depression, all of these things, and I'm not aware. So the first thing is, of course, that they have to be aware. Maybe they have uncertainty over the future. Okay, all of these things. They feel isolated. They're away from their peers. They can't go and socialize or go to the mall. Okay, they are disoriented. They feel out of control. All of these things are issues that they are facing. Go ahead, Naomi.
I was going to say that some of them may be feeling a sense of failure because whether we pull up the statistics or not, a lot of them, since school shut down in February, a lot of them didn't make it through these past few months, and they may have flunked out. So there is no college for them, and it may be a job at Wendy's or a job at McDonald's because they failed the rest of the school year. So they may be feeling a sense of failure right now.
Yes, that'll definitely be an issue. And then it's like they're thrown back, especially those who would have been in the 12th grade, right? They would have been to the point where this is like either finish. There's really no point of return. Like you don't go back and do it again, So now they're out of school, didn't complete. That will definitely bring a lot of issues. So sense of failure would definitely be something that they face because of what is happening. Okay, and then school was an institution. That was like a social institution. That's a place they get to interact with their friends. And now, of course, nothing is happening. Alina says, I was supposed to graduate from college as an adult. There's a sense of disappointment due to this. I can certainly see a young person feeling depressed. Definitely. So we are aware of this. We're in a crisis. They're facing all sorts of issues. They have their feelings and they're able to express their feelings. And as persons who work with young people, you're allowing them to do this as well. So we know how we feel. It could be overwhelming, but God's word can change everything and anything. Okay. I like the song that said, Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want, because it allows us, it helps us to remember that whatever it is, we can get help. And so today, when I look at the tools to overcome, I have about 7 tools that I want to leave you with that I have even personally done and worked with others to make sure that they're able to overcome whatever personal tragedy or crisis that they're facing in their life that I think would be helpful for our young people during this time. Okay, so no matter what mountain it is, God will move the mountains you want him to move. Okay, and so that is definitely a promise that we can rely on and know that he will be able to deliver and help us with. And my friend Anista was supposed to come on today, but it's really amazing. As you know, I'm not sure if you know aware, but we were supposed to have a hurricane passing through here to the Bahamas and definitely impacting Grand Bahama, the island that I am on. And of course, when I called Tamika, she was like, "Oh no, God got you. It's gonna be okay." So now that I didn't even call you, I was like, "This is gonna be okay. We're going to be able to have it. The power is going to be on, and if the power isn't on, I'm going to use my cell phone. I'm going to use my data on my phone and be able to have this because we need to get the message out to these young people, right?" And so we definitely prayed and to make sure that this is able to happen. And so so my friend now, her electricity is off, and I really wanted her to sing this song, but I didn't get all the words of the song, and I was like, this song just inspires hope. It was, God is able to do just what he said he will do. He's gonna fulfill every promise to you. Don't give up on God because he won't give up on you. And I hope by the time we finish, I don't know if we could actually play that song, but we would be able to have, even if it's just the words, to be able to say that song, because that is so true indeed. That is so true indeed. Okay, so what is coping? When we look at coping, what is coping? And I have here definition. When you think about coping and coping strategies, they are behaviors, emotions, and thoughts that you use to adjust to the changes that are happening in your life. Okay, so all of the emotions, all of the thoughts, all of the behaviors, all of them, you use them to adjust to the changes that are happening in your life. And so when I think about coping strategies and what our young people can do, I came up with these 7 points, these 7 tools that they can use. Okay, so I need you to help me write it down if you're listening, put it in chat for me. These 7 tools that we can use to overcome. Okay, so the first one I call BI. Okay, so that's the letter B and the letter I, capital. So BI is BI is blessing inventory. Why blessing inventory? It's a matter of starting from a place of plenty, not a place of lack. Okay, so you look around and you say to yourself, well, look at all I have. Wow. I have all of this, I can get more. Instead of, I don't have anything. Instead of saying, I don't have anything, there's nothing for me to get. Okay, so you want to start from a place of plenty. Blessings, counting your blessings, knowing what they are and focusing on them, because you get what you focus on. Now, so in order to do this, get your blessing inventory jar. Okay, I didn't get my jar in time to place out here, but the blessing inventory jar. So what you do, you can be a clear container, or if you want it concealed so no one can see, you can get strips of paper, and you can make it colorful and nice. You can go out with the creativity to make it really something nice, because this is something you're going to refer to. Write your blessings down and place them in the jar. And when you need to remember your blessings, to count your blessings, you go in that jar and you pull it out. When you're facing tragedy, when you're facing uncertainty, when you're feeling down, depressed, go in that jar and take it out and read those blessings. Okay, read them, and that will help you remember that you are indeed blessed and you have a lot to be thankful for. So that is number 1. So the first tool is your blessing inventory jar. So make sure you have your blessing inventory jar. Do your blessing inventory, have your blessing inventory jar where you have all of that written in. And I don't know about you guys, but I have always heard, let me know if this is something that you hear in the States as well. Okay, yes, thank you, Naomi. I see you have it, blessed inventory. Yes, starting from a place of plenty. Thank you. So I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I have indeed heard this, heard it here in the Bahamas. I would hear, you would hear people say, when life throws you lemons, what? Make lemonade?
Make lemonade.
Make lemonade. Well, I changed that. I changed that. In the Bahamas, we'd say, or switcher, right? That's like lemonade as well. But we use not lemons. Okay, we use like sour, we call it sour. So it's a different type of citrus fruit. Okay, it's also green and probably a little harder. So it's green, yeah. The lemons are yellow and the green. Okay, so we we have the switcher. But for me, I like when life throws you lemons, make lemon meringue pie. I don't know how many of you like that. How many of you like the pie? Yeah, okay, right? So for me, it's make lemon meringue pie. When I think about the pie, I mean, it's like, to me, it's something that is, sweet, delicious, savory, something that you don't usually have on a regular basis because it's so rich, right? You don't really have it regularly. It's not a regular dessert. So I'm thinking about it as something unique and special, okay? So for a long time, I grew up in a household like that. Dessert wasn't really a part of our menu. We had our main course. We didn't really go into dessert. So when I got into actually liking dessert, I was like, oh yes, definitely I want that. And I just, I go to a restaurant and just order that lemon meringue pie. Okay, so why all of this about this lemon meringue? Don't worry, you'll get it. So for lemonade, you use the juice from the lemons and you make your lemonade. But with this lemon meringue pie, I find that you use the rind. You use like about 1 tablespoon of the lemon zest. You're using that. You use the lemon juice. So from this lemon, whatever it is, you're using the outside of the lemon and you're also using the inside. Half a cup of lemon juice compared to a half a cup of the sugar in the pie crust. And then you also have another half a cup of sugar in the meringue. Okay, so you have half a cup of lemon juice. Okay, so that's all the bitterness. But this recipe calls for half a cup of sugar in the pie crust and also half a cup of sugar in the meringue. So in the crust and the meringue, the topping. So for every sourness, there is double the sweetness. Okay, we got that? For every sourness, there is double the sweetness. Yes, you can write that down. So your pain, whatever it is that you are facing, will reveal your purpose. And for a long time, I didn't understand that. My pain will reveal my purpose. When you think about the things that people go through, are you really saying that whatever it is you're going through, that is going to be a part of your story? Your pain will be your purpose. Your pain will tell your story. You can look back at that and use that for God's glory. Really? How? Why? Okay, so use what life throws you. That's the story of my lemon, right? Did I say what number 2 was? From lemon 2. I didn't say what number 2 was. So number 1 was blessing inventory. Number 2 is from lemon 2. And that's lemon meringue for me, right? From lemon 2. So whatever life throws you, take what you can use and leave the rest, or throw the rest away. Take what you can use. What are some issues young people are faced with now? What are some issues, young people? What are some of the issues that young people are facing now? If you can put those in chat or say them out loud, that would be good. What are some of the issues that they're facing? We said earlier, probably failing out. Naomi, go ahead.
Self-esteem.
Okay, definitely. No self-esteem.
Anxiety, just panicking because they don't know what to do in life anymore. So.
Okay, definitely. So those are definite things that are happening. We have people losing loved ones. We have people just being isolated. They can't socialize. They're uncertain about the future. All of these issues that are coming up. For example, here in the Bahamas, we have college students whose parents are questioning whether they should allow them to go, say, to the United States or anywhere else, leaving their home, their safety, to go somewhere else when we have COVID-19 rampant all over the world. Okay, so it's like, do they go or do they stay? Then you have kids wondering about whether they can still do online classes or do they want to do online classes. They're unable to associate or hang out with their friends. There's no school. They're uncertain about school opening for those who are still in high school. Like even here, they have it's like up in the air. We will start virtual, we'll have virtual, but then that is just so many issues because not everyone has the same access to technology. Then their summer is gone, no summer activities. These are real issues that they're facing. Guess what? Some of their exams were postponed or canceled. These are issues that young people are facing. And yes, Javon says boredom, suicidal thoughts, someone else said. So these are issues that definitely need, our young people need help with, okay? They need help with. And so for some of them, some of the issues, I'm saying, do your blessing inventory and then look and note that you can go from lemon to lemon meringue. You're going to make the best out of whatever situation you are in. Okay? So Martin Luther King Jr. said these words that I really found were really powerful. He said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Would you all agree that this is definitely a time of challenge and controversy for our young people? So they are facing a lot. They are facing a lot. As adults are facing a lot, and they're finding it challenging. So you can imagine our young people having to face these issues. Okay, so when we look at whatever it is that life is throwing, all of these, with the bottom, all of these things, we're going to look at how we can change that into something else, how we're going to make the best out of that situation, okay? You are strong. You can make it. You can overcome. Those words, I need you to believe and know that definitely this is something that can happen. You are strong. You can make it. You can overcome. You have been assigned this mountain to show others that it can be moved. I have a great friend who said those words that I told her I'd steal from her. Gio Walker. You have been assigned this mountain to show others that it can be moved. This can be overcome. You can overcome the boredom. You can overcome the suicidal thoughts. You can overcome the fear of failure. You can overcome the self-esteem issues. All of these things can be overcome. You may face it and you think that you're alone, but you're not alone. There is help, and there are people who have been there, who've done that, who faced those problems and overcome those problems, and you can do the same as well. Okay? So one of the things that you need to definitely do is adjust to your environment. Things are happening and you're stuck at home. And because you can't associate with your friends and just, have you're not accustomed to what is happening because you had your regular routine, and now that things have changed, you have to change as well. Okay, so I'm at home now. What can I do to change the time that I have? What can I do to make it better? How can I improve on what is happening? How can I pivot? That's a business word that I like to use in business now with everything that's happening with COVID-19. How can I move from where I am and change in such a way that I have, I'm still able to get a lot of positive out of it? Those are things that we'll need to do. So the first one, BI, lesson inventory. Number 2, from lemon to lemon meringue. And number 3 is faith pillars, faith pillars. And why faith pillars? Because faith matters. During a crisis, your faith may be challenged, strengthened, or changed. Now, this crisis you are facing may even cause you to question your belief. How many persons understand and know what I'm talking about? Have you questioned your belief? Like, should this happen? Where is God? Why is this happening? Yes. Am I back now? Okay. Okay. Oh, I hope this stays steady. Okay, so I think I need to go faster to make sure we get through this. Okay, so the crisis, like I said, you are facing may cause you to question your belief. So if you have questions, you will have to find the answers, okay? We're going to our Bibles. We're going to read our Bibles. We're going to seek spiritual guidance, okay? You're facing this thing, and then, of course, you know, when people are hurt or facing some kind of tragedy, those are times when they either draw closer to God or push further away. And what helps is having that spiritual guidance and people around, that supportive environment. We'll talk about that later. So prayer is important. When we talk about the faith pillars. In the faith pillars, what's going to build this pillar is prayer. Prayer still has power. So when you can't pray for yourself, you allow others to pray for you. So last week Friday, I was at the point, I had my nephew for the day before and stuff, and then he suddenly became sick. And we were put under quarantine. So, and then this is Grand Bahama. So, because we got a surge of new cases, we're in the second wave with COVID-19. And so our island was locked down. So no traffic in and out of the island in terms of planes and boats and stuff like that. So no domestic travel, of course, no international travel, all of that stopped. And there goes my nephew was sick now, and he had to be transferred. And then, of course, background, Grand Bahama was an island that was affected by Hurricane Dorian last year, September. So the hurricane came, devastated the island. We barely have a hospital. So now this baby, 6 weeks old, is sick. And so suddenly now he has to be airlifted off of this island to the capital, New Providence. So he's now going into New Providence and Nassau to get medical treatment, and not knowing what was wrong with him and that. And so at that point I couldn't pray. It was like, oh my gosh, it was just so overwhelming. This can't be happening. Not at this time. And then you're worried about, oh my goodness, with this disease all around. Does he go, so it's like so much things happening at one point. But when you can't pray, when you're facing whatever, just know that you can ask others to help you pray. Are you guys hearing me still? Hello?
We can hear you. You're back.
Okay, okay. Okay, good. So I didn't pray, but I had to allow others to pray for me. So you might get in a point where that becomes what happens to you. Okay, and it's all right to allow others to do that. And then believe that everything will work out. Now, I don't know how many of you enjoy this, but I loved reading. Okay, I loved reading novels, right? And sometimes when in the story, I see my characters are facing something devastating, and I can't imagine the ending for these characters. And I'm so anxious. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? It's going to turn out, oh, I don't think they're going to make it. So I would quickly go to the end of the book. Has anyone done that? Yeah, right? You go to the end of the story. Yeah, so you go to the end of the story to find out what happened. You go to the end of the story. So over here, my Zoom is acting really crazy. So I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay, so you go to the end of the story, and I would quickly go to the end of the story to take a glimpse of the end to assure myself that they would overcome it, everything will be okay. And then guess what? I stopped doing that. I said, I'm going to enjoy Okay, you guys can still hear me? If you, yeah, okay. I said I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy just reading the story and waiting until the end. I'm going to do that without sneaking at the back to see the rest of the story. So I got better at doing that, not going to the end of the story, because I started to trust that the authors knew what they were doing. And so now I read knowing that whatever happens, it will work out at the end. And that's the same way with God. No matter what circumstance may arise, I have to trust him as the author to know what he will ensure. I know that he will ensure that all things work together. You know, because all things work together for good for those who love the Lord, right? That's a promise. So we have to trust God and claim the promises he presented in his word. So we want to trust those promises. Speak to God specifically about your problems. That is something that we can do. No matter what it is, speak to him specifically about the issues that you're facing. Because it's like, you know the person who has all the answers to the problem. You know the person who has the money, the wealth. Are you going to beat around the bush or you go into the source? I'm going to the source. So that is something that we can do. Job 11, chapter 11, verse 17 to 19 says, and your life will be brighter than the noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning, and you will feel secure because there is hope. You will look around and take your rest in security. Trust the promises. God made some promises, and we can claim and trust those promises. Psalms 42, verse 11 says, why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God. Jeremiah says, and this one I love because this lets you know it is not only when you're in crisis, but for your life generally. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you. God is telling you this. So even though you might be facing something terrible right now, I can attest this personally. Even though you may be facing something right now, the Lord is saying, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. So he has it for us and we can claim it. He wants it for us. We can claim that. Trust the promises of God. Claim them. And another thing we can do with this faith pillar, we also have a spiritual community. Your church and your church family, those are people who should be drawn closer to you, or you should draw close to, because they're going to be able to help you when you face these challenges, the crisis, or whatever it is in your life. Your routines might have been destroyed, or just thrown astray, wherever. But God can help you with that. You can develop new ones, even with church. Okay, so you can't physically go to church anymore, but we're using Zoom, you're using YouTube, you can connect. Still find a way to connect. Still find a way to be able to pray with each other. Still use your phone, you can call, you can FaceTime, you can use technology in the absence of these face-to-face, because guess what? This season is just that, a season. It will not last forever. So when you look at your pillars of faith, they will give hope and it will help you through pain and suffering. It will also provide meaning for you. It will comfort you and give you assurance. So that was the third point, pillars of faith. Now the fourth one is support beams. Are we writing? Support beams. That's the fourth one. Support beams. And if you're writing, I think I'm having delays with that, but it'll be good if that could come through. Okay, support beams. What are your support beams? So, beams are usually used inside a house or inside a building, and they help to, support whatever the framework or the roof or whatever is happening. I think it is all the construction of what is happening with the construction, but I know it supports. And you need that in your life. That's a tool that you need, support beams. Rely on your friends, your family, and mentors for help. Everyone should have a tribe, a community of support to help them navigate through life. Do any of you have that? Okay, if you don't have it, you need to get it. You need a tribe. Build it before it's needed. So surround yourself with the people that you need, your tribe that you need before it is needed, so that it can be available. Your tribe can be available. Your community, your friends, your mentors, they can be available and strong when you need it. So that'll be someone you call on, something happened, and you're able to call on them and ask them to help you with some resources or finances or whatever it is. You'll just be there to be a listening ear, someone you can talk to and just kind of vent to. Something is happening, you're able to lean on their shoulders. You need that support. If you don't have it, it makes it more difficult. And people pay lots of money to go to a counselor because they don't have this. But if you have a strong support system, it will help you overcome a lot of crises, overcome a lot of problems, because you have people to support you. So when you're weak, you have people who are stronger, and they're able to help lift you up and bring you out of whatever state you're in to something. Now, of course, that does not take away from the fact that if you need more help, you need professional help, you should get that as well. So if you need that counseling or whatever therapy, you go ahead and get those as well. So what can you do now with your support system? This is what I want to know. I hope you guys can answer. What can you do now with your support system? Okay, so you're not at school anymore, you're not socializing, you can't hang out at the mall, but what can you do now? Help us find some answers to this now. Help yourself find some answers. Okay, so you will have to probably unmute your mics. What can you do now?
What can you do with your support system now in this situation?
Yes, like what can you do now?
I think the first thing to save your life would be to talk.
Okay, so how are they going to do that now? Okay, because before they would meet up together or something, but now, okay, so what, they just call each other?
Use social media, use platforms like Zoom, chat rooms on Messenger, things like that.
Okay. Awesome. So there are things you can do, and it doesn't just have to be with one person, right? You can link up with your peers. You can do it in small groups. You can do different type of groupings. Okay, you can have a virtual group, and maybe you'll just meet to exercise. That can happen. You'll meet to you're into art, and you'll meet and you're discussing or showing your artwork. You know, you have that and have the computer up and you're there drawing. Okay, so we have to think outside of the box now because of where we are, but still find a way to link with your support system to be able to communicate with each other so that you can help them and then they can definitely help you as well. Any other points? Okay. And then, so that was support, which was the fourth point. The fifth point is takeaway. Takeaway. And when I say takeaway, what are you going to take away from the situation you face with? 2020, COVID-19, pandemic. What are you going to take away from this situation? What story are you going to be sharing 10 to 20 years from now? What will your grandchildren, or I know you got these times, what will your children or great grandchildren, depending on how long, you obviously don't want the world to last that long. We want Jesus to come. But if it happens that they're still here, what would you want them to hear about how you pivoted, how you overcame this during this time? What story would you want told? Okay, so during the pandemic, and that happened, we weren't able to go to school, we had to stay inside, and we stayed home and I watched Netflix all day. Is that the story you want to be shared 10 to 20 years from now? Is that the story you want your children to hear about what happened during this time? Because history is writing itself now. Your history is being written even now. What is the story? So after this pandemic, then what? Ask yourself that. After this pandemic, then what? What did you learn? How did you grow during this time? If you have room and space for that to happen, then yes. If you're at the point where, okay, you can shake whatever feelings off and whatever issues you have, and you can come to the point where you're saying, okay, I'm going to come out of this with something better. Are you going to write a book during this time? Are you going to make some type of journal this time? Are you going to journal activities that happen to have that? Are you going to start a YouTube channel? Are you going to start a business at this time? Are you going to think of the boss? Are you going to be a part of a movement? What are you going to do during this time? Are you going to find another way to maybe do some online classes and still have that relation? Are you going to develop an idea that, hey, because of this pandemic and what happened, I don't want us to ever face this, so I came up with this idea that will help people during this time? Are you going to be like hundreds or thousands of persons who decided that, hey, because of this act, I'm going to make masks and sell them, I'm just going to do something? Are you thinking outside the box? What are you going to take away from this? How can you be of help to someone during this time? So as a young person, what can you do? How can you be of help to someone? How can you find a way to help someone? Okay, I'm looking for responses.
Novelette.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you know, I work with kids at a rec center. So, at
no,
work,
no,
can you hear me?
Are you speaking Novelette? Because we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Naomi?
I can hear you guys. I can hear both of you very clearly.
Okay, I can't hear Novelette. What's happening? Let me see.
Say something, Novelette.
Hello?
Okay, that's better now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I work with kids, and it was terrifying because I was like, okay.
Are you finished, Novelette? I didn't hear. Something is wrong.
Can you hear me?
Naomi, is she finished?
She's still talking.
And you can hear her because I can't hear her.
I can hear her. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
She's speaking. We can hear her on this side.
Okay. So it is happening on my side. But I can hear you. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to trust. I really didn't hear any of see any of that. Okay, and I don't want to do anything so you won't be able to hear me at all, but I can barely see you guys and I can't see any of the comments and I can't hear her. I can hear the children now in the background. Okay, so the question was, what can you do to help, right? How can you be of help to someone during this time? So you should be able to find ways to help others. And so after Hurricane Dorian last year, here in the Bahamas, my children and then some other preteens, they went out because the island was really devastated, okay? We had storm surges up to 12 or 15 feet. I heard it was just, people were in their ceiling, people were on their roof, trying to get out and away from the storm. That's how high the water was, and had to be rescued. And you know, some had died. Is where persons died and bodies washed up. So it was really devastating. So here, and that was in Grand Bahama and Abaco mainly, islands of the Bahamas. So my kids and some other preteens, they went ahead and assisted by filling containers with water. So they were at a water depot, the Rotary Water Depot. So we didn't have any potable water. So everyone had to basically go to a station to be able to get water to do everything. Okay, because we couldn't use what was in the actually at one point there was no water coming into the house, so no water coming into the house system. So we had to go and get water and persons, so the roadie was there, and persons would go there, and the kids were helping them fill up their containers and, do that. That was their part of trying to cope during that time. And I'm glad that, I didn't really insist that they did it, but they were happy to be able to go there and offer their help, and just instead of staying home where they would have been bored, just being there, no electricity, no water, nothing to do. Everybody's homes devastated. Homes gutted out. A lot of people gutted out, furniture outside. So people were trying to recover, and so they were there to be able to be a helping hand. Okay. And so even today, just today, when we were having lunch, they were there telling stories and laughing about their experience. So even though it was a devastating time for us, they were able to take away something great. I don't know if you get that, but they were able to take away something great from that. And that was something that that we try to make sure happens in life generally. Take something away. Takeaway was the takeaway. So when COVID-19 came now and their school shut down around about, I think it was like the 13th of March, we were shut down, locked in, so they haven't been to school. And we were home. So we started scheduling. We did game night, movie night. We decided to do all sorts of activity to keep them engaged. And of course, at one point they were doing school online. Okay, so they were still doing school online, and so we still had to maintain some type of schedule. And then later, it was, trying to make sure that each day meant and they were able to do something different. But I wanted them to be able to take away something positive from their experience. They did that during Dorian. And then so for COVID-19, what are they going to take away? Are they going to be caught up with the devastation of, all of these persons who are sick and persons around the world who are losing their life due to the virus? Are they going to be caught up with those things, or are they going to remember all of the great time we had? Even though we were at home, we had more time with family. We were able to do so many different unique things. Are they going to take that away? So it's important that you take something away, something great, kind of like the lemon, turning into lemon meringue. Yeah, have something that you take away. And so that is definitely important. And then number 6, the 6th tool is preparation. Preparation. Prepare for what you are praying for. Okay? Your dreams, your goals, all of the things that you want, they have not been quarantined. Some of them are still in your head that you need to actually put down on paper or enact while you're in isolation, and be able to make sure that they are fulfilled. Okay, so don't let the quarantine stop you. Don't let the fact that you can't use that to say, allow the crisis to create creativity for you. Okay, allow the crisis to create opportunity. Allow it to create opportunity for you. Okay, and that could happen. So plan your future during this time. When you talk about preparation, don't dwell here on what is happening now, okay, in your crisis, but think about what will happen beyond this, the positive things, not the negative, okay? Think about the positive things beyond this. I don't know if any of you have gotten so down and you felt that there was no way out. Like you felt so sad and gloomy, like just generally overwhelmed. And I remember sometime in March, that would have been probably the end, because we were quarantined like from the 13th, that weekend, and then about the first week I was cool, the second week, so about 2 weeks after this, we were locked in and stuff like that, I suddenly became so fearful, I was constantly watching the news, keeping up with the statistics, every video sent via WhatsApp or everything on social media, and they're sending it on Facebook, that I became physically ill. I was like, oh my God, and I'm sick. I was like, my stomach, everything, it was just my whole body. I just became so physically ill, couldn't figure out what's wrong. And then of course there's no hospital to go to, right? All the conspiracy stories about, they're trying to kill Black people, or they trying to do this, and all of these different stories. You're getting that, the end of the world, the gloom stories, all of that. And most of those end of the world stories and the videos, they had a lot of error in it. They weren't true. And my mind was overwhelmed. I couldn't shake the feeling, and my body was like physically reacting to it. And guess what? It all happened in the space of 1 week. Because I sat down and I was taking in the news. Because I knew better. It wasn't like I didn't know better. I knew that I shouldn't have been taking in all of that and just be constantly in, watching the news and just hearing all the negative and just taking that all in. And had nowhere else to go. I'm just taking it and taking it in. And sometimes we catch ourselves in that. So I was there taking it all in, and I had to shake myself out of it. So I spoke to my spiritual mentors. I stopped being so caught up in the news and finding out every details about, how many persons died and where, and being caught up with so much things. And oh my gosh, what happened to people in Italy, and all the caskets you saw and all the bodies, and what was happening in China. And it was just so overwhelming. And I had to say, stop. I couldn't do anything to help that situation. And by me just sitting there and watching it, I couldn't, that wasn't going to help. That was making me physically ill. So with all the darkness that was going on, I decided to take control of what I could. I decided what I watched and listened to and gave space in my thoughts and focused on. I decided to do what I needed to cope. I focused on doing what I could to help instead of focusing on what I couldn't control. And that is something that we need to impress upon our young people, and our young people need to know. Focus on what you can control. Everything else is just so out of control. Some things you just can't control. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because you might think, okay, I control my diet and that leads to anorexia and all that stuff. No, focus on the things that you control and do something with what you can. Okay, so what can you control? Okay, question. What can you control? Think about what some of the things that you definitely can control. Go ahead, Naomi.
Your attitude and your response.
Definitely. So the situation will happen, but you decide how you respond to it. You decide that, okay, I am going to not let this affect me in a negative way. I'm going to change my mindset. That is definitely something that you can control. What else can you control? You can't control when school opens or closes, right? No, you can't control that. You can't control whether or not you're allowed to go certain places, but you can control who you speak to. You can try to work that out. You can use your virtual platform. You can decide that I'm going to make the best out of the situation. I'm going to create something, make something. I'm going to join a movement. I'm going to start a movement. You are strong. You can help yourself. So I decided to do something to help. So I went down to the 8 Mile community. That's where I grew up. And so I was driving down there, and then I also passed that community to go to school where I teach. And so I was driving there, and I see kids walking. This is before the second wave of the virus. So when it was safe, I went down there to do something anyway. So I went down there, and I saw kids walking up and down, without masks. They're on the road, and everyone is supposed to be, home, and the kids are really supposed to be home. They're supposed to be out. Even up to now, they're not supposed to be out, as in go anywhere. 13 and under, everyone is supposed to be home. But I saw these children, I saw adults, and they're walking around with no mask on. And I decided, at first it got to me. I was like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do? They're gonna spread, and then you're not sure. And so I worked with a friend who made masks, and we decided to distribute them in the community. So we gave them out to the children in the community. I couldn't do anything else. So instead of getting all hyper and frustrated about the fact that these children were there and their parents would just have them walking about, they didn't have masks, they could, contract the virus, I decided to do what I could to help. And I decided to contribute to getting the masks made, and then we distributed it in the community. That was something I could have done to help. Okay, and so our last point on the 7 tools is natural.
You have one more statement. You have one more statement coming from Elder Mills.
Okay, Can you read it for me? Because I can't see the comments. My screen is actually frozen. All I can do is hear. So if you want to
She's,
open it,
she's live. She's live. She's gonna say it live with you.
okay, she can say it live. Thank you.
All right, Linda to Linda, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay. So Linda, I'm going to assume because of your friendship with Pastor and his wife that you're around their age, which means that you're around the age of my children. Okay. I know you can see me on the screen. You think I'm a young person, and I am, but you know, age-wise, no. But here's the thing. First of all, I want to tell you that we know that in these last days, we have less young people in our churches, and you have more older adults attending AY than you do young people now. But I think your presentation is important for us who have children and grandchildren who are AY age so that we can help them, because what you see happening now is that they're leaving the church and things are happening, and we're going to have to deal with that in the future. And so coming up with ways to encourage them, a lot of them are thinking this is all about them. We don't get to go anywhere. We can't do this. We can't do that. And it absolutely is affecting them. But we've got to get their minds off of internalizing what's happening and find a way to get them out. You know, I make my grandchildren come out and help me in the garden, rake leaves, play out in the yard, do all kinds of little silly things, have worship, make it so that they are enjoying it. It doesn't seem to be a drudgery. So I think the impact of what's happening on these young people is going to fall on the backs of the parents and the grandparents who are listening to this, because you can't get them to come to the AY programs. And now I'm going to tell on somebody. Linda, you have a young person that's on Zoom right now. I used to do this when I was AY leader. I would call him out. Javon is on the line, and he gave an answer to one of the questions that you asked a little bit ago. So I want you to put him on the spot and call him and make him talk to you. He's a wonderful young man. Please.
Okay, awesome. I can understand the feeling, Javon. I know, right? And just pick and just decide. But I would be so happy if you would just open your mic and share with us. That would be wonderful. Yes, I think earlier he said a rise in aggression. I think that was one of the statements that Javon made. So Javon?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And we want you to share what's happening, what's on your mind, how are you feeling, what do you have to cope with? Anything, just share.
At the moment, I guess I'm feeling all right. Now about like the events that are taking place right now with like COVID and stuff, I guess it is kind of like depressing and boring at the moment, but I guess I'm getting through it because like I had some stuff planned out for the summer to do with my friends and my family. But at first when I heard about this COVID and stuff, I took it as a joke. Like I would go to my mom and like, joke around about it and be like, because memes and stuff like that. I don't know if some of y'all know it, but yeah, they would like post memes and I would laugh about it and stuff. But now, since like summer is almost done and stuff like that, I am kind of like bored and like I couldn't hang out with some of my friends and stuff. But I just hope that they do find something to kind of like slow it down and stuff like that. But at the moment, I guess I am all right.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing, Javon. And something that you said is coming up in the natural coping. And whatever you're doing to cope and it's helping you through it, especially if it's something positive, it's not something that will damage you or cause problems for you later, do it. Do it. So if you are finding humor and coming up with your memes, oh my gosh, you could be famous for the memes, and we all need it. You know, when we were facing devastation and stuff, just having that and being able to laugh. People are making up songs with everything. Can you imagine? People died. The hurricane, it may seem like it's insensitive. People died from the hurricane, and then you have people making up songs with Dorian is coming, and Dorian is so bad, and Dorian is all of this with the hurricane, or even with COVID-19, and we see all the memes coming, and we're busy sharing that. We don't know who created it, but we get it even here in the Bahamas, and we're like, oh my gosh, look at this one, and we share that. So if you need to use humor, if you need to go back and still create your memes and stuff like that, you do that. You find what you need to do. You do what you need to do to be able to overcome. Use that. Okay, so don't take on the, you know, that same attitude you had at the beginning. Yeah, don't take on the, oh my gosh, all of this is happening, and don't take that on, because if you stay stuck in that, like how I was during that time, if you stay stuck in that, that will kind of color your life or your mindset and your attitude, your actions, your behavior, everything in such a negative way that it'll be harder to come out of compared to if you try and keep that balance of, you know, finding the joy, you know, finding humor in the situation and not being so consumed with all the negative. So do that, and you sound like a smart boy, so you can find ways to be creative, to, you know, to get out of that. Your friend, y'all can have competitions to see who can do the best of whatever, you know. I don't know, cooking this and something, the most creative thing on Zoom, and then send it out, put it out on social media, because even when you guys do those things, we get it all the way here in the Bahamas. Crisis is the time when opportunities happen. You know how much people became millionaires during this time? It's sad to say, right? That people actually became rich while people are dying, but it happens, you know? So there are a lot of things you can do, and if you use your humor, that will definitely help. Thanks so much for sharing. So the last point I said was in the tools, when I talk about the tools to overcome, is natural coping skills. We all have them and need to use them. Okay, so Javon talked about, okay, you know, what helped him at the beginning. So what makes you feel better? Try some positive things that help you. Maybe it's listening to music. Maybe it's creating the music. This time would be a time to do that. Maybe it's journaling, talking to others, humor, like you did, creating the memes. Focus on the positive, taking care of yourself, rest, exercise, worship. Think about how you cope with problems in the past and try to use those same coping skills to cope with what is happening now. Yes, it's not the same because we didn't experience, no one here experienced, or your generation, my generation, and I think my parents' generation, no one experienced, you know, a pandemic before. So it's hard to say, okay, how you cope with pandemic before, do it now. But however you cope with problems in the past and you got through, you can use some of those same skills to help you during this time, okay? So stick with the positive ones because like hurricanes, nothing lasts forever. The hurricane came and it, you know, it goes away. The clouds come, but the clouds go away. It rains and then it stops raining. It floods and then the waters recede, okay? The crisis will pass. You're unable to meet with your friends or socialize with them or hang with them, but y'all, at the end of the day, y'all should be able to say, oh, we found another way to do this. And we came out. And so when you tell the story, okay, something came out of it. You were able to find something good. You found a way to let the crisis pass and you come out with something positive. So I just want to share some coping strategies and some other coping strategies. So those were the 7. And then that's on my PowerPoint. And basically, yes. Yeah. So I just want to share those. Let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on. Oh no, I won't be able to share my screen because this thing is frozen. Oh. Oh wow. Yeah, I have on my screen Zoom meeting not responding. But, wow, and I really wanted to share that. Okay, so I'll have to say it.
Read it to us.
Sorry?
Can you read a few points of it to us?
Yes, I'll try to do that quickly. I really wanted to have that visual.
Okay.
Okay, so some of the coping some of the positive coping strategies, and some of these I might have mentioned already, but these were taken from the World Health Organization. These were the authors: War Trauma Foundation and World Vision International, 2011. They had an article, Psychological First Aid Guide for Field Workers. So this is a source for that. And some of the positive coping strategies: get enough rest, eat as regularly as possible and drink water, talk and spend time with family and friends. Well, you can't spend time physically, but you can try to find another way to do that face to face, right? Discuss problems with someone you trust. Do activities that help you relax, walk, sing, pray, okay? Do physical exercise. Keep safe to help others in the crisis, and get involved in community activities as safely as possible, since we are in quarantine, in lockdown or isolation for so many different things, or quarantine. And then there are some negative coping strategies that we need to discourage, okay? So some of the negative things that you don't want to use as coping strategies. So any of the others, and anything that you would have used that helps you to overcome whatever situation, you use those. But these ones we want to stay away from. Don't take drugs, smoke, or drink alcohol. Don't sleep all day. Don't work all the time without any rest or relaxation. Don't isolate yourself from friends and loved ones. So even though you might feel isolated from them because you can't physically be in their presence, you can still find a way to connect with them, okay? Even if it's not physically, it could be virtually. Don't neglect basic personal hygiene. People would go, days, or they wake up in the morning or afternoon because they slept so late, and then they're not taking care of personal hygiene because where do I have to go anyway? Just a simple act of waking up, taking a bath, brushing your teeth, fixing up, dressing up will make a difference in how you feel, okay? And then don't be violent. Those are some of the points. And I would say, because of my own personal experience, I would say, and I don't get so caught up watching, just binge watching so many things, vary your activities. Don't just be caught with one activity and just binge watching, sitting, binge watching. No, you want to vary the activities, and that will help with the boredom. So have a schedule, do a schedule, and that will help you too. That's why at schools they have a schedule, you have a rotation, because if you'd be bored if you had to do math all day. So you have to break it up. So you do some outdoor activities, you watch TV for a certain time, you play game for a certain time, you talk to your friends, you go on Zoom for a certain time, you go and create something on your schedule, do art or do cooking if that's what you want to do, or some other type of activity. Learn how to do something, go write a song, go make a meme, whatever it is, okay? So you want to do those. Any other points anyone has? So those are some coping strategies that I would invite our young people to use. And then for those persons who are, I also had a slide for this one, helping teens cope, how to help teens cope. So what I'll do, Novlet, I'll just send you those, the slides so you could share it if you want to. How to help teens cope. And this would be for the parents and grandparents. You're watching, you're listening, and you want to help your young people. These are some of the things that you can do to help them instead of hurt them during this time. So number one, allow them to express their feelings. Okay, don't say, oh, you shouldn't be feeling this way. Allow them to express it. Let them own up to their feelings, let them express it, and eventually it'll be something that they be able to overcome. Number two, give practical suggestions on how they can address their problems. Okay, don't be vague. Number three, allow them to safely contribute their help during a crisis. So they can come up and do something. They can, warn their mask. They can do something outside your home. Y'all can be able to help people, distribute something, whatever it is. They find that by helping others, you kind of get yourself out of whatever slum or boredom you might be feeling, and you benefit, and then definitely the persons you help benefit as well. So you want to encourage your young people to do that. Find ways that they can help safely. So that's number 3. Number 4, don't be judgmental. I'll say it again. I don't have to explain it. Don't be judgmental. Number 5, give your time and attention. Number 6, support their positive coping strategies. So if your child or grandchild or whatever, if they're using humor to help them pass the time, if they're whatever it is, you know, and it's positive, it's helping them and not hurting them, support it. Be honest and give facts, okay? And okay, I lost my count. So 6 was support their positive coping strategy. 7 was be honest, give facts. And number 8, don't force them to speak if they are not ready. Okay, so those are some things that you can do to help teens cope during this time. So when problems arise, hope still. When you feel overwhelmed, hope still. When you feel burdened, hope still. When you are frustrated, hope still. When you feel like a failure, hope still. When your self-esteem is in the slump, hope still. When you can't see any way out, hope still. You can cope with this current situation. Have faith. You got this. God has you and you can do this. Look around you. God has given you the tools to overcome. Use the tools to help you overcome whatever it is you are facing. Depend on your support system and you will definitely make it through. Yes. Hope still. You can overcome. I don't know if you have any questions, but I'm basically finished with what I had to present. It was great being here with you guys.
I do have one question.
Go ahead.
Do you have like any hotline numbers where kids can call, teenagers can call in anonymously if they're feeling like suicidal or they feel like they can't talk to their parents about something that's pressing them? Do you have like trusted numbers that you could give to us to hand out to them?
Okay. So I know there are teen hotlines and suicide hotlines for children and stuff, children and adolescents and people definitely out of the United States. My numbers would kind of definitely be different because, you know,
Oh, okay. All right.
here in the Bahamas, but yeah, I can get those numbers. I can definitely let you know this one, yeah, where that they can use. So an adolescent, yeah, that they could use. Okay, so give me a second, I will get that up for you. Yes. Okay. Okay, any other questions while I get that number?
You know, Linda, what I'm wondering, you gave some statistics when you first started, and I'm just wondering, maybe I didn't hear it because I was back and forth, but I'm just wondering about the comparison of the young people here in our city, our state, compared to the young people in the Bahamas. I don't know if the same type of stimulation, games, activities, things that they're exposed to, if it's equal now. I went to the Bahamas 33 years ago tomorrow for the first time, and I was surprised to find Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's, things like that. And so I just wonder if some of the, you know, like the movies and all the things that the young people have here, that they are certainly been restricted to attending. Do you see that problem as major there in the Bahamas?
Well, I would speak for Grand Bahama and what I see happening here.
Okay.
Not so much for all of the Bahamas, but I can make reference to that. Here, because we're basically living in a crisis zone, and we've been living in a crisis zone for quite a bit here in Bahamas. Because, like I said, we were affected by the hurricane last year, Hurricane Dorian, and that kind of, destroyed our hospitals. We have a lot of businesses that closed because of that pandemic. Because of that hurricane. And so for some of our kids, we don't have a movie theater that was closed as well. So on this island, things are a little more, I guess our kids would do a lot of socializing at school, after school, and those type of ways. You don't really have those malls where you could say they could go ahead and just hang out at the mall. So they don't really do as much socializing, to say go places without their parents, like to say just go to the mall. A lot of what happens would be like right there in their immediate neighborhood, where they'll socialize with friends, and maybe they go out at night and go hang out to a certain popular place or go to a restaurant and stuff like that. But in terms of a lot of the other activities, I think for Grand Bahama, we didn't have a lot of activities for them to actually go to. So when this happened, it kind of, it was like, okay, this is just another something that's happening. Now in Nassau, the capital, they would have had access to a whole lot more activities, activities to do. But then still, we have still a kind of island mentality. We still have not so much so, I don't want to say large gatherings. Okay, they would have some of those things, but we still don't have as much stimulus that kids in the United States might have had to say, okay, suddenly everything is shut down. Okay, so some of our kids are definitely feeling it, but even something as simple as just being able to relate to each other virtually would be new for some of them. Okay, because a lot of them probably didn't do a lot of that. And now they can actually do more, time on Zoom, doing FaceTime. So that is something different. So probably for the kids in the States, they had so much more stimulation and be access to a lot of different activities. And then for us, we face hurricanes, we face, especially on Grand Bahama, we face things that don't allow for us to go out and interact as much as we'd want. So I think they probably have it a little easier, but they're still facing the challenges as well. So some of them are still, upset that they can't hang out with their friends, and okay. So yeah, they're still getting it, but the extent to which it happens might be a little different for them because of even some of the restrictions their parents place on them. Okay, like, okay, you can't just decide to go out, you have to go places and you have to be supervised, or your parents have to come with you, or, stuff like that. So it's a little different, but they're facing some of the same issues. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah. Oh, I had the number. This is the suicide prevention
Okay.
Lifeline. Okay, this is an organization, 1-800-273-TALK. And I'll say what the digits are, but it's 800 1-800-273-TALK, and the talk is 8255. Okay, that's a suicide prevention lifeline. Okay, and they also have that. It's toll free, and they also have a website that persons can go to as well. I can be reached. I'll say that I am on social media. Let's see. I'm on Facebook as Linda Wright Patrick. So if anything else, know that we can always connect and get information. And then my husband and I, we do Unique Couples, the marriage platform, and offer coaching through that. And of course, later we'll, do the branching off. We're focusing on married couples now, but we'll look at, helping families as well. That is a part of what we know needs to happen, because Whatever is happening with children, we know that translates into the family, and that affects the home, and what happens in the home with parents and the couples also affect the children. And so if parents are, able to cope and know how to help their children, that'll help the children. And so that'll help the children as well. So we offer those daily inspiration and stuff. We want to make sure that our kids, because if they're facing these problems and they don't get the help that they need, they are going to grow up as adults who have these problems, and it's going to be significantly worse. So we need to be able to help them cope through those problems. So Linda Wright Patrick on Facebook, and then Unique Couples on Facebook. Instagram is Unique Couples Rekindle, and then email would be uniquecouplesrekindle@gmail. Yes. Any other questions? Thanks, Linda. Linda to Linda.
We can't hear you now, but you're on mute.
Hello. All right. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. So, it is so important to take these tools and actually go and use them. So I thank you all for joining us.
Sorry, Norvlet is speaking? Because I can't hear.
Yeah, she's speaking. She's closing out the program.
Okay. So I'll turn off my mic. Thank you so much. I can't hear what she said, so Naomi, you'll have to say that.
All right, I'll hop back in and let you know.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so it's what I was even talking about earlier, like even working with the children at my center, we came up with a newspaper. And when we did this newspaper, we had a teenager actually. We give her the information, and she will type all the information and put the pictures together. And at the back, we have all the kids who want to draw, will draw some pictures in different sections of the paper. And so as they will draw the different things, we will publish it every week. So we can have inspirational time where I will tell the stories of somebody. I was able to use my, telling stories ability, thank God. And then I was, the kids was able to show their talent. And a lot of them really enjoyed the newspaper. They was just ready to read it even when we wasn't able to get the newspaper out one week. The one man was like, man, I was looking forward to the newspaper. What happened to it? I watched the,
Sorry, oh my gosh.
he said that he looked at the pictures and he enjoyed it, and we never know that it even impact him. So it just shows you that when within this crisis, God was in control, and we finished our 9 weeks yesterday. So and we got this certificate saying that 2020 Corona time, and they had little masks, and they gave it all to the different kids and said we made it to the 9 weeks. Nobody got sick, praise God. And that just shows that God was with us. We was praying, but they was consistent too. They was actually cleaning the surface. They was, we was wearing our masks. It was just wonderful to see how the staff worked together. We pushed through, we got to the finish line. And I'm so grateful that, we are able to have these talks, because I think it's so necessary for teenagers and even for us as young adults and even, adults, where we can actually cope, with what's going on. Because like Linda said earlier, this is something that none of us has faced, but with God and with prayer and with determination and with our creative ability, we're able to take it one step forward and do what God would have us to do. So I thank her so much. I was also praying because I was like, Lord, please don't, because I heard of a storm. Lord, please don't allow, the storm and the disruption and stuff to affect this program, because I think it's necessary. And I just hoping and praying that we will take these tools that we have got to even share with our grandkids and our kids, and try to help them through the crisis that we're facing right now. So if nobody have any comments or anything, we're going to close out and be done.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming. You gave a lot of great points that I'm going to share with my oldest son, who turns 9 in a few days. I think these are some points that I can share with him. Although I homeschool, I still think that be some good points to share with him. And I hope that we have you back soon to do part 2.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, we'll be closing. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your love and kindness. Thank you for allowing us to come together and to be able to discuss and be able to share, Lord. Thank you so much for the speaker. Thank you for allowing her to be able to share with us the tools how to overcome. It's not easy in this pandemic, but we're going forward with you by our side. Thank you so much for your love and your kindness. Thank you for being there for us in spite of the storm. In Jesus' precious name, amen. All right, so we are finished. So
Good night, everybody.
Linda, I gotta ask you a question. I might not be saying this right, and I know that the island suffered devastation. Is it Junkatu or Junket? What's the word for the celebration that you had there?
Junkanoo. The cultural festival we have, Junkanoo.
Junkanoo, and that's
Junkanoo.
usually on what date?
Sorry?
What date is that usually celebrated on?
Oh, we were definitely Boxing Day and then New Year's, and then we have some, if you would come during the summer, they would have like a Gombe festival where they would have, some of the parades going on, but it's usually Boxing Day and New Year's, you would have the festival going on, yes.
Well, we came from Elim with some of the Pathfinders and some of the staff a few years ago, and we were there during that time, and we enjoyed the food, and we enjoyed the Sabbath school picnic that they had. So
awesome.
Thank you so much for coming. We hope you'll come visit us here at Elim.
Yes, definitely. And I was asked date, and I gave you a date, so it's December 26th. Okay, December 26th, the day after Christmas.
All right, God bless you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Okay.